I really enjoyed watching Sharon give that presentation because she's actually talking about many of the same issues that I have discovered. My name is James Bates. I'm the founder and CEO of AdviNow Medical. I have been in the high technology field. I'm not a doctor. My previous life, I had the opportunity to run a billion-dollar business in self-driving vehicle technologies. We sold that business, and as an officer of the company, it was a great time to retire and kind of figure out what else I was going to do. The problem was, had a very strong non-compete, which meant I could do anything I wanted to do as long as it was something that I've never done before. Healthcare, I'd never done before. I figured I would just go and acquire some medical practices, maybe roll them up, sell them to hospital systems or insurance companies. Everybody's doing it. Well, when I dug in and started looking at the details, what I realized is that physician practices are not very profitable. And the idea of buying a non-profitable business, making it big so it's bigger non-profitable business, doesn't make financial sense. In fact, I looked deeper. I did what's called a Six Sigma lean analysis. This is an analysis where you walk in with a stopwatch and you're actually measuring every movement in the production line. In a hospital system or in a doctor's office, that production line is the encounter, which Sharon did a great job of talking about. And you go through every single step, and I measured exactly how long it takes, what's the outcome they're trying to achieve, and ultimately, what is its cost? The unfortunate reality is that you have all of the time being spent by people in the practice on things that aren't related to actually treating the patient. What does that mean? In a medical practice, there's three things you're trying to achieve. Number one, you want positive outcomes for the patient. Depending on what your practice type is, you'll have different definitions for that. Number two, the doctor wants to get paid reliably for doing their job, which means every patient that walks in the door, they want to get paid for treating that patient at about the amount that they expect. Number three, they don't want to get sued for doing it. Oh, I forgot to ask this question, and Medicare requires it, so all of a sudden Medicare is not paying me. I just treated that patient for free. So what does that mean? Getting paid, not getting sued, 70% of the physician's time is right there. 30% of their time is practicing medicine. The other big problem is all of the EMR vendors out there are saying, I know this is a terrible problem. Doctors hate all of the data entry. They're totally burned out. Let's make it easy for the doctor to enter information. Great goal. A nice ambient listening scribe helps. It's not the end-all be-all though. Why? Because ultimately, if the physician is the one collecting 70% of the information that has nothing to do with practicing medicine, the physician is not practicing medicine 70% of the time. What did they go to medical school to do? Practice medicine. What is a physician today? They are a data collection clerk. So even if it's an ambient listening scribe, they're still remembering Medicare requires me asking these 5 things. Medicaid requires these 10 things. Oh, United Healthcare's HMO, I need to ask these 10 different things. So the physician is the expert in what the insurance company cares about, and they're less focused on what the patient needs. That's where AdviNow is completely different. Our artificial intelligence is that engagement tool with the patient before they see the doctor. The AI will actually predict every single question the doctor is going to ask from a diagnostic standpoint, every single question the doctor is going to ask from a treatment standpoint, every question the insurance company cares about so you get paid reliably, and every single question the regulator or the liability attorney cares about to make sure you don't get sued for doing your job. That filter, that engagement gives a summary to the physician before they ever see the patient. They'll know what the insurance company is going to pay for, what it won't pay for. They can have that conversation with the patient real time. The impact on the medical practices is revolutionary. In a case study using AdviNow in 56 medical practices, what we see is the profitability of those practices jumps dramatically. What was a 3% net profit business, which is the average profitability of medical practices. If you guys think medical practices make a lot of money, they don't. The doctors do okay, practices don't. So the business itself, 3% net profit jumps to 30% net profit. That's 1,000% increase in profit. It's dramatic. Revenue per doctor actually doubles. Revenue per patient goes up 20% because you're coding everything up front. There is no billing company on the back end taking your money. Ultimately, the provider practices medicine the way the insurance company wants them to, but more importantly, they get to focus on the patient and treat the patient for positive outcomes. Provider quality measure up here at 98, that's actually what Center of Medicare Services ranks every single doctor, specifically in the primary care field, for their ability to practice medicine really the way they want them to practice medicine. It doesn't always mean it's best for the patient. It means it's the way Center of Medicare Services wants them to practice medicine. When AdviNow is used, what is an average of a 75 out of 100 goes to 98 out of 100. They call that closing care gaps. It's done automatically, the doctor doesn't need to worry about it, and they get their bonus. Revenue cycle efficiency. If you go through these, I won't spend too much time on them, but every single medical practice submits claims. We're all familiar with that. Well, ultimately, the average practice has about 80% of the claims that are submitted get paid the first time they're submitted. 20%, the billing company goes back and forth, argues with the insurance company, comes up with the right code they want, and gets payment. And you end up with about 90% of claims paid, 10% not paid. Once AdviNow is adopted, 95% of claims get paid first pass. They get sent to the insurance company, and they're automatically paid. When an audit comes around, you pass audits with 100% accuracy. So now the physician, which was really worried about getting all this data in there so they get paid and not get sued, they get to focus on the patient and they get to make money reliably. Onboarding training is dramatic. When you go into a medical practice, what does the front desk do? What are they trained to do? They're data entry clerks. Let's check all these fields, make sure we have the address correct. Let's check the insurance company. They are data entry clerks. When AdviNow is used, the front desk is now just confirming the data with the AI highlighting what's missing. Similarly with the medical assistant, their job is to collect some history, put it in the EMR, then take the few vitals. AdviNow collects the history up front. The medical assistant now reviews that information with the patient so they don't have data entry anymore. Similarly for the provider, as Sharon presented earlier, their job is to collect a lot of history. Well, ultimately, does that history actually make it into the EMR? In general, it doesn't. Now it does. It's all in the electronic medical record ahead of time. So the physician now has a decision support tool where they just click on the diagnosis, the AI scribes an assessment and plan with everything the provider needs right there. Another way our clients look at us is we are the defensive shield against the insurance companies. I hope there's no insurance companies out there, but you got the nice little evil missile, denial missiles coming out, and the patients are in trouble, and the doctor's office is in trouble. Ultimately, the patient is the one liable when a claim is denied. But many times the patients can't pay it, so the doctor's office takes the hit. Once AdviNow is used, thanks to our diagnostic engine, our treatment engine, our payer engine, and our malpractice engine, we're able to predict denials ahead of time, alert the physician, and allow a care plan that will actually be paid for. And this happens before the visit. So during the visit, the physician can actually practice medicine and get paid for doing it. So how do we accomplish these things? There are two applications in the AdviNow solution, a patient application and a provider application. The patient application starts with a digital front door, similar to what everyone uses today. It could do scheduling, payments, check-in, documents, all of the normal stuff you do today. It's kind of a Me Too product. I wish it was specialized. It's not. Everybody's got one. What happens next does make us very special. We are deeply integrated in with electronic medical record companies like AthENA or Epic, And the AI goes into the patient's medical record and does a comprehensive chart review. It will actually read every single medical visit that patient has ever had that's recorded in the electronic medical record. The AI will create its own problem list in addition to whatever the chief complaint was for the visit, and it will predict every single question the doctor should ask from a history standpoint up front. It will also predict what measurements will need to be taken, what labs, images need to be ordered, and it will prep all of that information, fill out prior authorization forms for the physician ahead of time. When the physician actually opens the chart is completed. We have embedded inside of the EMR a module, which you see on the left-hand side, that purple, that's Athena. This is an Athena example. The little blue, that's a module that shows up inside Athena as an interface for the physician to use. This is a very simple decision support tool. It shows the physician exactly what data has been collected, what illnesses it correlates to, and when they select it, it will automatically draft an assessment and plan based off of the history, the measurements, the labs, whatever objective information has been collected, and scribe it exactly the way the insurance company wants to see it. This allows the physician to be extremely efficient, to get the differentials that are required to justify medical necessity for the insurance company, and to practice medicine like a physician. Once the visit is over, the AI engages with the patient directly, sending them a text message to see if they're feeling better. If they're not, then the AI will actually drive them back through this whole journey all over again, scheduling an appointment, driving the whole interaction. This is why the financial performance of the practice actually becomes efficient. The patient is treated, the data is collected, it's documented exactly the way the insurance company wants to see it, and ultimately, everybody wins. We've got some pretty good accolades. Time magazine, which I really didn't know was a thing until they gave us this award still, but yeah, it's still a thing. They had the who's who of technical medical applications. AdviNow was at the top of the list as the outstanding medical vendor last August when they announced this. The Wall Street Journal has done a full-page article on us. They asked the head of Accenture, the #1 consulting company in the world, to evaluate AdviNow. His name is Kaveh Savafi. He evaluated AdviNow, and he was quoted in the article saying, "AdviNow is a great way to scale the doctor's time, critical in extending the reach of doctors." Gartner, which is a marketing company, and they spend a lot of time in healthcare and looking at products in healthcare and ranking them, listed AdviNow as a vendor to watch for AI patient engagement for 4 years in a row. Every large news media organization has sent a camera crew into practices that have adopted our platform and done a segment that you could find on YouTube. Mayo Clinic, who is on our cap table, as well as a partner, wrote a one-page recommendation letter where they stated the chair of the Department of Family Medicine, Dr. Farford, listed, he's confident in AdviNow's ability in bringing a paradigm shift to the conventional ways of managing patients. AdviNow's record of success is indeed laudable. I love that word, laudable. As soon as you see that, you know James did not write this thing. I'm not that smart. Use the word laudable, and provides excitement and optimism to healthcare. Large hospital systems like Mayo Clinic, all the way down to single practitioners like Glowworm Pediatrics, see value in our platform. Single practitioner, Glowworm Pediatrics, was struggling to survive. They were literally ready to sell their practice to private equity and be done. Once adopted AdviNow, saving 5 to 10 minutes per patient, and he's growing, hiring practitioners to work for him, and his practice is vibrant. Tons and tons of competitors in this space. Many, many people recognize this problem and they're trying to figure out how to deal with it. Here's the problem. If you are a point solution, which everyone else is in this fragmented space, the point solution isn't capable of solving the problem. You need to have an AI that understands diagnosis, an AI that understands treatment, an AI that understands insurance company rules, and an AI that understands liability management. If you don't have all four of those things, you cannot ask the right questions to the patient, prep the information for the physician, and get the type of ROI that I talked about previously. That platform we are excited to build. Been doing this a long time. For you guys who have seen me, I've been in this, how long, 10 years, Joan, going on? Too long, quite frankly. The challenge with all of the EMR vendors, which everyone claims they have an AI solution out there, is they're still solving the wrong problem. The vision of Epic, or the vision of Athena, or the vision of Oracle/Cerner, the three big guys in the EMR space, is their goal is to make it easy for data entry, which is a laudable goal. And if you're a database company, like all three of those companies really are, that's what they know. You ask a doctor, what do they hate? Oh, I hate typing. Great, let's eliminate typing. But here's the problem. If the physician is still the expert in the payer rules, if the physician is still the expert in the administration and regulatory environment of their practice, they're not practicing medicine. That's the vision difference between AdviNow and other solutions in the marketplace. Where does this go in the future? I mean, ultimately, our goal today is to take a very manual physician consultation with a profitability challenged practice and make that practice a good business, give time back to the provider to spend more time with the patients that need them. Ultimately, though, we do see a future where the AI is actually software as a medical device, and it's a physician assistant to the physician. Where the AI engages with the patient, it will actually predict the treatment with FDA approval. It can treat the patient real time, and the physician would review and approve after the fact. And I believe that's where this all goes in the end. Any questions?